All right, welcome everyone to our live office hours live stream. Thank you for tuning in and bearing with me. I've done a couple of these, but I'm still trying to figure things out, trying to add a few little things. This time I'm going to have like a small agenda, which may be helpful. So just overall about these office hours, so I'll be answering technical questions about Fleet. I'm available to answer technical questions. I also have an assistant today. Andre from our QA team is going to be available in the chat. And I know some of our Fleet team members have been in the chat before, and they had trouble posting in the chat because like our corporate accounts don't have YouTube channels enabled by default. So if you're using a YouTube account that you have issues with, you can always just use a personal account or create a new account. I think that's fine too. Anyway, questions about Fleet, deployment, configuration, code base, anything you're curious about. I will not have all the answers, but I'll try my best to reason through them and at least put you in the right direction. So if things are kind of quiet in chat, I'm going to work on some bugs, on some features. So feel free to hang out and see what I'm hacking on. So thanks for being here, and let's get started. Let me switch to my screen. So I've got this agenda here. So that's new. So I first wanted to ask people if they want to see a dev environment. So I'm going to go ahead and actually move that to later in the agenda. We can always come back to it. Let's see if I can edit it. I'll get faster at this with practice. All right. So let's go ahead and get started then. Which bug to fix? Feel free to jump in, later if you find something interesting. But let's just take a look at what I have on our sprint. So a sprint kicked off earlier this week. And this is my board. So, I have a few items I'm working on. I fixed some bugs already. So I guess I'm going to start working on this feature. Let's pull up the feature. So we have, we're able to install software when you enroll a device. So we're able to install software, of course, with macOS. We've had that for a while. Recently, we added a feature. We're in the process of releasing a new Fleet server version that allows you to do this for Linux. So basically, when you install the Fleet agent in Linux, you will have a screen can come up in your Fleet desktop that'll show you, like if you click on my device, it'll show you that you have software installing. So sometimes software installs fail, and they may fail like intermittently. Maybe there's a network issue. And so the first thing we want to try to do is actually retry a couple times. And this is specific to setup experience. And major concern is network issues. So let me actually try to sketch out some ideas just to sketch out a few things I'm thinking of. So we have the Fleet server, we have the agent, macOS or Linux. So the agent is going to go to the server and ask it for what software to install. Software is going to come back to the agent. So the first problem is this. There could be a network issue here. We need to kind of figure out, like, what if this fails? Do we retry? Do we ping the server again? Oops. This is server. This is agent. So once the agent gets the software, it's going to try to install. It's going to fail. When it fails, we really want to send the failure back to the server, so that way an IT admin can see it right away. This is useful if, say, you're trying to create a software package or some custom software, and you just want to make sure it works in the setup experience. You don't want it to just keep retrying on the agent without you getting any feedback. So that's kind of the rough plan. I'm not sure how this works. All right, let's jump back to our code editor. Let me see. So I already have a sort of plan. So I haven't actually, I've been kind of working on this plan off and on. So I need to kind of refresh myself, like what the plan is here. Let me just skip this. Detail implementation, okay. Database, no database changes. Let me just make sure, I understand everything that needs to be done here. So add retry configuration to software install responses. Okay, so when the agent receives the software to install, it needs to know if it needs to retry or not. So we can start working on that. I think that's pretty straightforward. Process final install results. Yeah, no changes needed. Okay, so that's on the server. The server is gonna send a number of retries. What is the agent gonna do? The agent is gonna loop trying to install it. So what I want to first answer is, what happens if the agent is trying to get the software and that fails? So let me just do something in parallel. So I think best practice nowadays is to ask your AI while also manually verifying this in code. So I am using Claude Code. I kind of went over a use case last time. So I think what I want to do is ask it, and then at the same time trying to figure out myself. So if agent is trying to get the software to install during setup experience and it fails to get the software due to network issue, like a timeout, what will happen? Will it retry? Okay, I'm looking at the chat now. Andrew's saying he would like to see us set up a dev environment. So let me go ahead and try to finish finding the answer to this question. first, and then we can try to show how to set up a dev environment. I haven't done it in a while, but I've done it a few times. So let me go to the code, install software. Install software. Why is it not finding that method? It's an installer.go. This is weird. Pending software installer IDs. Install software, get installer details. All right, we get the installer details. It fails because network issue. Returns an error. Errors get appended. We continue. We try to save installer result. That may or may not fail because we assume we had a network issue here. We didn't even get the software. This is a retry, but we're retrying here. We're retrying here, but we're not retrying here. It would make sense for us to retry here as well, right? I mean, yeah, we can just do a blanket retry. I'm just thinking, like, what kind of errors would we see? And retry here in case of a network error. All right, let's go back to see what the agent says. It says it'll retry. Is retriable error. Is retriable error. Something's wrong here. I'm not finding this method. Is retriable error. Is that? Okay, install software, attempt install. Attempt install, download, start. Okay. Yeah, right. You know, I was, this plan already includes this. This was mostly written by Cloud Code with my guidance. I guess the original plan was to do the loop later. Where the install is happening. Where the actual install is happening. Like down here. But we want to actually loop around install software. Okay, that makes sense. The download happens here, so that means every loop, we're going to do a fresh download. I think this is fine. That captures my concern. Like if we cannot even download the software fleet, we will retry it. We will try to re-download it. Okay. And let me see what it says about what it recommends regarding is retriable error. Is this just a placeholder? Oh no. Okay. Like you got to double check stuff like this. Like these standard. Are you seeing these in the code somewhere, or where are they coming from? All right, I think we can pause on this task. Andrew, welcome back. I'm doing pretty good. I'm trying to trying a few things. I've got the plan up, so trying to have a plan up so people can see what is being worked on. And let's see what else I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, draw some diagrams. So I think, just looking at the code editor screen can be kind of tiring. So, diagrams are good. I'm actually giving a talk about diagrams on the 30th of this month at the conference. And I have not prepared for that specific talk yet. So this is good practice. All right, so I'm going to actually update the plan. Let's say started work on software retries. And I'm going to put the next item, set up dev environment. Set up dev environment. Yeah, so this conference is a regional conference in Iowa, which is next to Omaha, Nebraska, called Heartland Developer Conference. Okay. All right, set up dev environment. So my rough plan was just to use a VM. We'll just use a VM and go through kind of our documentation to how to set up a dev environment. Let's see, I'm using UTM for VMs. Close the Linux one. So this is running. What I want is I want to make sure the VM has enough memory. Let me shut it down so I can bump the memory on it. And this is just VMs I've been using for like testing fleet agents, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and bump the memory here. System. So probably 8 gigs. We're going to be running Docker containers and the server. So probably 8 gigs is the minimum. I don't think we specified anywhere, but but in this case, just to be safe, I'll bump it to 16. My machine actually has a lot. I don't remember the exact number, but I think let's launch it. Can I make this full screen? Okay, something's happening. All right. All right, so suppose I am, I want to find out what is fleet. I want to try it out. Where would I go? I would go to GitHub, github.com, fleetdm, fleet. This is just a fresh VM, so I don't have any of my tools or keyboard shortcuts or anything. And then I would go to docs, contributing, getting started, with fleet development. So we're gonna go through these 3 steps, right? Okay, install dependencies, macOS, xcode select -- install. Let me do a fresh terminal. New tab. And can I bump the... Here we go. The font. I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna say, create a directory called work. Xcode select -- install. I think I have different keys. Okay, this is working. Cool. Okay, so I'm immediately hitting this issue. Okay. Gives me a pop-up. I agree. Moving on. Install Homebrew. I wonder if I can do this, both of these in parallel. It's not clear. Do we want to try them in parallel, just for funsies? Shell, new tab. Oh, I need brew. Do our docs say we need brew? Oh, we do. I missed this step. Curling, everything is risky. Homebrew install had, so the thing to do is actually go and look at this file. This is a VM, so let's just run with it. Okay. So this is going to install Xcode command line tools. So we have a little duplication here. It looks like just installing Homebrew may install Xcode command tools. So just clearly there's some duplication here. So just make sure I don't mess it up. Let me wait for this install. 2 minutes. Come on, time is going faster. Yeah, it's a good install method. It's just kind of the security spidey sense kind of tingles when you have to curl a file from somewhere and execute it. You're vulnerable to like man-in-the-middle attack. Maybe the more secure method is to download it, check the hash, then install. Maybe that's a recommendation for Homebrew to add instructions for security conscious users. Okay, it doesn't mention Xcode anymore. I wonder how long this will take. This is just a base install. I'm not downloading any big packages. Okay, so it's pretty quick. Add Homebrew to the path. Fine with me. Let's go ahead and do that. Now we can proceed. Installing these dependencies. This is fine. Let's kill this path. I think it was updated here. Which brew? Okay. It's just we updated this environment, but we didn't end up updating the shell environment in another tab. So that's going. While that's going, let's check what the next step is. Clone and build. I think this installs Git. Okay, so once we have Git, this is actually going to take some downloading because our repo is getting quite sizable. Oh, in fact, I had some issues with the size. Maybe I wasn't like installing it on a remote machine or something that had limited memory. Yarn requires a node installation to function. Well, we have a node installation. Maybe this is just a note. We're not using the right version here, but we'll we'll hit that problem when we hit it later. All right. So this message was just, it looked like it's just a bad message, I think. It looked like there's an issue, but it doesn't look like there's an issue. Anyway, git clone, that's going to take, how many gigabytes do you think it is? Not 2 gigabytes? 127? It's not too bad. cd fleet, make deps, make generate, make. Okay. Okay, here we go. We're hitting our first fun issue. So it feels like we should have this in our instructions. Because like once we get the repo, we know which node version we need, right? Because it's documented in our package JSON file. Right here, engines node. So once we clone, we need to make sure we're using the proper node version. Question from Andrew. Do you know why everything is in one repo and Fleet isn't a project with a bunch of repos for all the individual parts? That's an excellent question. And a lot of people ask it. We do have it documented on Fleet Why This Way. Basically, we're using a mono repo philosophy. At high level, it makes things simpler to have a single repo. We're also modeling kind of other big companies using monorepos like Google, I think Facebook maybe. But that said, those companies have their own specific tool chains that optimize their workflows in more repos while we're still using GitHub. But let me try to find, how do you open, do I have, I don't know, Chrome install here. Here we go, new tab. And we want to go to fleetdm.com. I want to say the article is called Why This Way? Nope. Nope. Oops. Okay. Let me try a different way. Let me try ask our AI agent that knows about our docs, which is unblocked. Why is Fleet using a mono repo? Point me to the docs. Let me make this bigger. And while we're on the subject, while we're looking stuff up, simplify management, improve visibility, consistency across projects. So like if you want to update a library, it updates across all the directories, right? So that makes it easier. Yeah, so why this way? I was looking for why this way. I'm not sure why I couldn't find it. Handbook company, why this way? Mono repo. I see. I was searching for mono repo, but the article doesn't explicitly mention it. Why open source? One repo, I see. I wonder if we should like put the mono repo keyword somewhere in this section. What do you think, Andre? So that we can actually search for it. Easier to manage, more visible to the community, right? So there's only one project, right? So it's we actually call this out. GitHub stars. That's interesting. So this is a marketing rationale. All right. Thanks, Andrew. Yes, others are using it. We do have another repo. I guess we have two other repos. They're not public. Yeah, and we have vulnerabilities NVD. So technically not everything is in one repo, but yeah, the main stuff is in one repo. All right, let's get back to installing stuff. So it looks like we have a problem. It's because when we run make devs, we're not using the right node version. So there should be a check for this node version. So what I wanted to do is see if ChatGPT can just give us instructions. Okay, I cloned a GitHub repo. How do I update my node version to match the project expectations? I want to say this would be pretty straightforward. I'm not like a big node user. I'm mostly Go backend. Yes, I did this. Yes, I know this. Recommend Node version. Yeah, in my main laptop, in my main environment, I am using Node version manager. This is not easy enough. Is Node? I'm kind of going on a side quest here. Which node? It was installed by brew. So the simplest, because it was part of the instructions, right? We installed Node.js as part of brew. Node was installed by brew on Mac OS. Can you give me executable command line instructions to install the right node version from package.json using brew? All right, it's not trivial. Like, okay, yeah, we get the version. We know how to get the version. Yeah. I'm gonna go with this brew install node at 18. So we need some step in the instructions. Andre, you wanna make a note somewhere? Seems like a documentation bug. Okay, what was I doing? Yes, VM. Brew install node at 18. But it's still not what we're specifying. We're specifying 18 point something 2018.1. 20, that's what I meant. Yes. So we're specifying 2018.1. We're installing 2019.5. Is this going to work? Make deps. Okay. Root uninstall node. This should work. Okay. So it's not linking to linking node because I have to run. Node not found. So I need to add it to my path. To be honest, this node stuff is more complicated than I would like. Do I need to reset resource? Okay, okay. Yeah. Still not the exact right version. Okay, so the brew approach doesn't work. Yeah, I was just trying to see if there was like a simpler way, like without using NVM. Yeah. So thank you for taking on this detour with me. Let's do NVM. NVM. I can't copy and paste between into my VM, I don't think. So let me just search for it. Install NVM on Mac OS. Installing. Copy, paste. Close and reopen your terminal. Let's do that. Okay. And then we want like NVM use, something like that. Actually pick a version. NVM install version. That's all I need to do, NVM install. NVM install 2018 dot, was it 1? Okay. Okay. Okay, make deps. So I can't believe we didn't mention this in our guide. Surprising. OS. Just reordering, right? We need to move this thing up before clone and build. Yeah. Basically, if you just run top to bottom, you're gonna hit the Node.js version here. Okay, make generate. It generates the front end pages. And then make will build. Did we install Go? Okay. New issue. The yarn. I mean, it's it's right after this message, which makes it seem like it's related. Oh. What's wrong? NPX. Do I have NPX? update browsers list db at latest. I'm not 100% sure this will fix this issue. But I wanted to check. We installed Go with, yeah, we installed Go with brew. Okay. So if I open a new tab, I should have Go there. Always forget the command Go version. 125.1, this is fine. Back to make generate. We got 14 minutes left. Can we actually run? I think we need to install Docker. Let's do stuff in parallel. Install Docker. Fedora. Okay, install Docker desktop on Mac OS. Oh, come on. We're having this error again. Is Webpack CLI a tool? So I am missing something. Any ideas, Andre? All right, while researching that, let's just run the normal make. Yeah. Is ChatGPT gonna work for free for me? Is it gonna make me create an account? Architecture mismatch on Mac OS. Okay. Tells me to reinstall everything. Okay. But why did it install the wrong version in the first place? It's telling me to remove these log files. But these log files are part of a repo, right? Jump into my dev environment. It's like yarn.log, something like that. Yeah, yarn.log. We don't want to remove yarn.log. Maybe just yarn install. I'm guessing this is failing because the previous step didn't pass. So yarn install already up to date. Well, this is fun to be stuck. Remove node modules and then run yarn install. I mean, just reinstalling stuff. Like I don't. Seems like I don't see how that would work. uname-m 64. Okay, that's correct. Remove node modules. And then run yarn install. Maybe because we were using the wrong node version, something different got installed. Make generate, right? Make generate. Let me see, where are we going with this? We got, once we build this, no, still getting that error. Ensure all your packages compile and compatible with ARM64. Using Rosetta? I don't know. Wow. Unfortunate, I can't even set up our environment. Remove Webpack Notify if you don't need it. So this error was specific to Webpack Notify, Webpack Notifier. How to check which architecture is the Webpack Notifier installed for? Okay. Find the binary. Node modules, node notifier vendor. This is working. Tab's not working for me. Node modules. What was it? Node notifier. Was it vendor? Node notify vendor. Notifu snore toast. Use file command on the binary. Where's the binary? .exe. .exe. Okay. Mac no index. Huh. I'm seeing .exe files on a Mac OS. Windows executables, right? Corrupted installer package manager confusion. So what was it suggesting? Should I blow away yarn.lock like it said? Yarn.lock is part of our repo, right? Duplicate. Or was I wrong there? Or is it local to everyone? Yeah, yarn.lock. We're looking for node notifier. Node notifier. Well, we only got 4 minutes, so let's blow it away. RM fleet rm rf yarn.lock yarn install. Well, Andrew, thank you for bringing this up. It's definitely good to run through our development environment setup. It does happen, of course, obviously, whenever we have a new person joining, they run the environment setup, they hit issues. Hopefully they note those issues because we kind of have a retrospective with new employees about how the onboarding went. So at that point, it's a good idea for those issues to be noted and any kind of setup docs, onboarding docs to be updated. But it's possible, people are not running with a completely fresh environment like I am. So, they may already have things installed. Will it work this time? Make, what are we doing? Make generate. Strange. Okay. All right, and I'll leave that there. Hopefully, we'll have an answer before the next live stream. So thanks everyone who's been watching. Apologize for not finishing the setup of the environment. Definitely we hit some interesting issues that shows that we need to kind of review this flow. Could just me fat fingering things. Hi Ashish, I see your comment. Thanks for watching. Yeah, and normally I think I open up the live stream early. I'm guessing if you just post, you can just, post anytime before the live stream, and I should be able to see those messages in case you want to queue things up for the agenda next time. Thank you, Andre, for helping. And I'll see you guys again in 2 weeks. Thanks, everyone.